You got Instagram, Brooks?
Let's roll, Huckleberries. How we doing today, fellas?
Happy Thursday, guys. We're going a little early today for our buddy Brian over here. Brian, what's going on today, buddy?
Well, the first thing I'm going to address is Joe Radke and Zach can suck it, because I was when I hit 10-12 waiting for you guys. Not that you were supposed to be on at 10-12, but I was here just looking over stuff on my phone. So I was not doing hair and makeup. So
hair and makeup.
I see that in the chats here.
When's the last time you were in Buffalo, Wyoming?
I wasn't.
Oh.
But
but you got the shirt anyway.
Yeah, Brian Eater went out there for a boys trip, go hunting. So
okay. Cool.
Yeah. I actually got to see him right before I jumped on here. So now I got to do some more family stuff a little bit later today, and some work stuff. So just wanted to get on here a little bit early today.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, as you guys see in the title, we have a special guest joining us today, and it's our buddy Nick Mason. Nick, how are you doing today? We're gonna add you to the stage. What's going on, buddy?
Hi, Al.
Great day to be a hat.
That's a good looking hat. Let me get you in the middle here. Let me give you all the credit you deserve. God damn it. In all his glory.
There we go. Look at that hat. Known British guy.
Yeah. Known British guy. Who would have thought?
Oh man.
Well, yeah, we're bringing British Raven in today. You know what? Shame on us.
We didn't do it.
The British are coming.
I think we just had the anniversary of Paul Revere's ride here recently. So.
Oh yeah, I got to work at the old Paul Revere tonight. The old smorgasbord on the boardwalk. If you're familiar with Ocean City, that's the place I work on the boardwalk. Brooks, when's the last time you were at Mickey Finn's?
I don't know. When's the last time I was in Ocean City?
I think it was White Marlin Week last year, or maybe whenever you came out.
Usually,
look at that. He's got a koozie for his water bottle, too. Look at that. Yeah. Hell yeah. He's repping the merch. Great day to be a hat.
You can't even see that water bottle. But yeah, we got British Raven coming in today to talk some of the Ravens draft picks, because I love the stuff that you put out, Nick, on Twitter and the breakdowns that you do. So I just wanted to have you on here to – damn, I was there during the White Marlin last year. Well, shit. Yeah. I'm actually not going this year, so –
before we get in depth in Raven stuff, just a couple other draft things. If you are the defense coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons and you have to come out and make that apology like he did, which sounded very heartfelt, would you make your son attend the press conference where you have to basically just get up there and put your hat in your hand?
I would be ringing a bell, walking him through the street saying, shame. Shame. That kid, he ain't going to college anymore.
Yeah, you just cost him $100,000.
Yeah, and the Falcons organization too. They got fined also. So
yeah,
I don't feel as bad for the organization, but
obviously it's not really their fault. It was just a kid trying to play a prank, right? And and it comes out, we get a lot more information that it wasn't just Shedeur Sanders who got prank called, right, Brian? You said there was a couple other guys.
Yeah, there were some lower level names that I won't mention just because they're not hot topics. But Ty Warren got called. Abdul Carter got called, prank called, and said the Jaguars are going to draft him with the number 2 pick.
Wow.
There was another. Yeah, and then whoever the Browns, I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head right now. Whoever the Browns drafted, the D tackle. He also got prank called. And then there's a slew of other people who were getting prank called, like some guy named Kyle McCord. So, very unfortunate.
The name escapes me, but there was also somebody that was once projected to be drafted in the first round that got a prank phone call and eventually went undrafted. So,
wow.
Bad day to be him, unfortunately.
Good. That's this. There, he's Zach comes in right at clutch with the comment there.
Yeah,
yeah, that sucks.
I did a lot of reading on this, and the NFL is also a little bit at fault. They sent out a confidential email to the appropriate people, like GMs, player personnel. It doesn't go out to assistant coaches. Then they sent out another one that was not classified as confidential to like assistant coaches, aka D coordinators. And how this got out is it went to, I think, Albrecht. I forget his last name, Jeff.
Yeah,
Jeff Albrecht. And then he left his iPad open. His son got the number. It's just very foolish. I would tell that kid, I hope you have a great summer job because you owe me $50K and I'll pay the other $50K.
Yeah. I wonder if they were the ones who did all the prank calls or if there was a bunch of different people.
I don't know.
I mean, if the data protection was that weak, if they could do it, other people could, right?
Most likely. I mean, there's hacks every day.
Yeah. Anyway, it's shitty. It sucks that these players have to go through this. It's like their dream is coming true this week, this past weekend, and they have to deal with not even knowing if the people who say they're calling are actually calling. It's a complete nightmare and it sucks. But anyway, we're going to shift our focus more towards the Ravens because we have our buddy British Raven on here.
Before we do that, we talked about the biggest draft falls of all time, and we brought up Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
What about Quinn Ewers?
When did he end up getting taken? I don't even know where he went.
The 7th round. I forget who drafted him, but he was
going back. I thought he was going back to college.
Well, no, he ain't going back no more. He's drafted, but he
Miami Dolphins. Huh.
I mean, all this is why I don't read mock drafts whatsoever.
Yeah.
At least until like the week or two before the draft. He was projected to be like a top 5 pick.
Well, like what, a year and a half
before the season
something?
started. Yeah.
So that's the biggest draft fall if you do it just by the numbers.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's also like the Spencer Rattlers of a couple years ago that were supposed to be a top pick and ended up having a terrible year and falling as well. So, I mean, that kind of stuff happens. But yeah, specifically when we talk about the Ravens draft, British Raven, do you want to start with Malachi Starks? Do you want to start with Mike Green? Where do you want to start? Who do you want to talk about the most? We can even talk about the place kicker.
Well, we had 11 picks, so we've got a lot of guys to talk about.
We do.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to start with the guy that the Ravens had no business even taking. Malachi Starks should not have been on the board when the Ravens were picking. Not in a million years. And the Philadelphia Eagles of all teams were said to be attempting to make that trade up to Peppers to him. I can't believe it. What do you guys think about the Ravens taking him?
I love it. I think we need it. It's a position of need and also the best player on the board. And when your draft strategies align, it doesn't really happen that often at the end of the first round. So I love it.
Yeah, it's super interesting too because I saw like the mock drafts were saying we were going to take that offensive tackle that the Eagles ended up taking, I believe, after us. So the reason we didn't take him must have been because we didn't realize we weren't expecting him to be there. So I mean, not
to say anything negative about you, Brooks. I know the Eagles didn't take him because their first 5 picks were defense.
Yeah, they picked the Jihad Campbell. The linebacker, the guy it
was the Chiefs.
You're
maybe.
Talking about the Chiefs, yeah. Josh
Chiefs.
Simmons. That's the guy that Peter Schrager had mocked to us, the offensive tackle from Ohio State.
I'm not going to act like I watch. I mean, I watch Georgia football, but I never, focused on Malachi Starks. So I'm not going to say I know everything. All I know is what I read about him and how he plays nickel, and he also plays safety, and he plays both at a very high level. So, win-win.
I think he had sort of like the beginning of the year Kyle Hamilton kind of thing happened to him last year at Georgia, where he was kind of asked to do a little bit too much in the defense because of injuries elsewhere in the Georgia defense. Do you have anything on that, Nick?
So not specifically, but the guy, he is perennially available.
Yeah.
The thing that makes him a good fit all around the defense is his football IQ is absolutely outrageous. He doesn't quite have the production that you would expect in terms of interceptions, but his pass breakups, he's 17 in the last 3 years of college. And in saying that, he was a finalist for the Jim Thorpe Award as well, which is given to the best DB in college.
And obviously, we knew he
was
wasn't
the kind of guy.
We knew he wasn't going to win that based on Travis Hunter. But
yeah.
Also, it's and I'm sure we all agree on this, it's very, very hard to read statistics when it comes to cornerbacks and safeties.
Yeah, it is. So Brooks is going to pull up a little bit of a highlight here. This awesome interception that he was able to make. What was that game? Is that SEC? Who are they playing? Clemson? I can't see. But yeah, obviously a guy who's got super awesome ball skills. He's very athletic. He's able to go up for the ball when it's in the air. We like that. We haven't had that guy in quite a while in Baltimore, especially with the lack of performance we've had from the free safety position over the last couple of years. So I really like that. I really like that he's able to be a playmaker. I like that he's versatile. I like that he's able to go down and play nickel corner if you need him to. And I like his mindset. Like I said, after he got drafted, he was on the stage and he just seems like a dog. Based on, like the 30 seconds or minute long clip that I got to hear him talk. He just seems like a dog. He seems like he's ready to work. And I hopefully he keeps that Ravens defense mindset,
And he roughed up the commissioner pretty good when he got drafted. I mean,
I feel sorry for Goodell's back, man. I would need a lay down for at least 30 minutes to an hour after that.
And every dude is coming up to him doing that. And most of them are way bigger than this guy too.
Didn't Goodell get a back surgery not too long ago?
Yeah, like 2 years ago.
I'd hate to be that guy's consultant.
So, I mean, should he even be playing any kind of nickel corner unless Humphreys gets hurt? I mean, don't we really want Humphrey in the nickel?
Well, of course, but it's a nice
thing to have. Yeah,
it's a nice problem to have, but it'll also be one of those. We'll see how it shakes up.
Yeah,
and I guess you can disguise it if Humphrey's not on the field or something.
Yeah.
The thing about this guy is he's plug and play. He'll play wherever you need him to.
Yeah. And versatility in the defensive secondary is something you don't really find all that often. So I think that's really important, especially getting him at 27, like you said. You don't get guys falling like this very often, especially with the I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, the legacy of the Georgia defense. These guys generally pan out, and we can see that because the Eagles defense is so dominant, and 90% of the Eagles defense is Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah.
The pedigree is the word I was looking for. Should have asked Triple H for that.
You probably don't want to ask Triple H for a pedigree.
All right, who we got next, Nick?
So our next guy is Mike Green.
Yeah.
So I'm going to preface it by saying that Eric DeCosta and the Baltimore Ravens described their pre-draft process as exhaustive, so likely factored their findings into making the draft pick. Some teams, however, were not happy with his answering, but the Ravens put the hard yards in and were comfortable enough to make the pick, considering their zero-tolerance policies.
Yeah.
So that's why he fell.
Yeah.
Nobody will deny that. But his product on the field is undeniable.
Yeah.
The guy
6'4", 250 edge rusher.
Mm-hmm. He has everything to be a top 15 pick in this draft. So the Ravens knew what they were getting into. They put the hard yards in, and they were comfortable to make the pick, and they did.
Well, and what I like about this highlight that's playing right now is he's going up against what I would assume is going to be NFL level talent at Ohio State. It's kind of hard to read some of these, and that's why I don't really read too much into highlights. This one's an exception because if you watch Marshall play, Tennessee Chattanooga, is this NFL level player playing against a guy who's also going to be in the NFL level. Now, I'm not saying that this right tackle from Ohio State's going pro, but just based on pedigree, if you want to, of Ohio State's players, they have a good success rate.
I like my favorite thing about this is that it says relevant people up there on the top right. Look who that is.
It's incredible that I am my own relevant person.
I know, right? Well, thanks, Twitter. Thanks,
trying to get your brand out there, dude. You're going.
My ego is currently through
all over the page. Yeah. But yeah, character concerns is why the guy fell for sure. This is basically based on everything you read from the experts. This is a top 20 talent in this draft. He probably would have been taken in the first round had he not had those two SA allegations against him. Hopefully that stuff is hashed out, and we can focus on him getting to work on the football field and not off the field stuff.
This guy is an absolute monster for production, might I add. I know that the leading tagline is 17 sacks in the FBS, but he's ranked second with 22.5 tackles for loss also.
Love that.
And he started all 13 games in his final year with Marshall.
That's good. That's actually a complete opposite of what we saw when we drafted Jason, now Odafe Owe out of Penn State, who basically had no sack production but had all of the physical freak tools. So a little bit different strategy for the Ravens taking the edge rusher here. Do we think that this means Owe or Ojabo get a little bit less playing time, a little bit less run, or do we think it's just kind of going to be a rotational turnstile with the pass rushers? And also we have Kyle Van Noy rotating in there as well.
I think the writing may well be on the wall for Ojabo, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We've had him for a while now. He was a risky pick with that second round pick back then anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he's not done too much since.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to be trade bait here soon before the season starts. I mean, with 4 edge rushers and everybody needs an edge rusher, you got to think that one of those guys aren't sticking around, I would assume.
Yeah, unless they really like him special teams wise, which Harbaugh really cares about the special team stuff. I don't know if Ojabo plays a ton of special teams, though. I'm not 100% sure.
I don't believe he does.
He doesn't play.
I doubt it. He can't even get on. I mean, he can't stay healthy to stay on the field. So
yeah. All right. You want to move on to the offensive tackle out of LSU, I believe, Emory Jones.
Emory Jones Jr.
Big guy.
Oh yeah. So this pick is probably start of a trend for the Baltimore Ravens in this draft. In that Emory Jones Jr. does play tackle, but I highly doubt that he'll be playing tackle for the Baltimore Ravens.
You think he slides into guard?
I think he is a natural selection for that guard position.
Yeah. So is that right guard, left guard? He played right tackle, so you'd think
he played right tackle, so I assume he goes right guard.
Yeah.
But one thing to note is the tackle duo that he formed with Will Campbell, who was a first-round pick to the Patriots, was one of the best in college football.
Yeah.
So my skull is gonna fry.
Yeah, Brooks, can we just get our face?
Yeah. Let's just talk.
We can hardly see it anyway.
We know that he's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. My brain is dying.
Yeah. There we go. We had it. But yeah, so Emory Jones, if you looked last year at the mock drafts, which we talked about, Brian, if you looked last year at the mock drafts this time of year, Emory Jones was going to be a top 10 pick in this NFL draft. He didn't really quite have the production in his last year at LSU that I guess teams were looking for. I guess he took a little bit of a step back, but obviously a guy who has the talent. And especially now, knowing, especially what British Raven says, that he probably has the flexibility, or at least the Ravens expect him to move into guard, which is really where we need help on the offensive line anyway. Obviously, depth at tackle is very important in the NFL, but we already kind of have the 2 stalwarts at tackle kind of locked in with Stanley and with Rosengarten. So I think Emory Jones moving into that right guard position could be big for us. It was kind of Daniel Falalele, Ben Cleveland kind of turnstile last year, if I remember correctly. So, hopefully we can get a guy in there that's solid and we don't have to kind of rotate guys. Do you expect him to be a starter this year, or do you expect him to kind of transition this year and maybe see if he gets a shot next year? Or do you think it's just kind of be dependent on, how the camp goes?
A lot of us have all been on social media for long enough to see the security guard meme. Where the guy's trying to go into the stadium and they're like, "You're good to go."
Yeah.
That was Daniel Falalele at right guard.
Yeah.
That was Daniel Falalele at right tackle.
Yeah.
So
big man.
Emory Jones Jr. is the insurance policy.
Yeah.
I think before we even get to game 1 preseason, we'll be having conversations about him starting at right guard.
Yeah, but we saw a massive a massive turnaround for Falalele last year, did we not?
I think he got better as the season went on. I don't necessarily think it was good. I remember saying on this podcast a few times in the early part of the year that we might as well just put a mini fridge out there at right guard because it would.
I remember that as well.
It would be more effective than Daniel Falalele was.
That's what I mean. It was terrible. I mean, the whole offensive line was terrible at the beginning of the year, but I mean that they really turned it around, and I feel like Falalele was a part of that offensive line for a lot of the year. Or played a lot of those snaps.
And I think all four of us gave credit where credit was due when we said that there was massive amounts of improvement over the duration of the year. Because I think I remember, did we play the Chiefs to start the year? Would it be the third game of the year? Or something?
It was the first game. We were in Outer Banks.
And do you remember what I said? Look, Chris Jones physically took one of his own teammates and moved him over so that Chris Jones could line up right across from Falalele and just bull rush.
Yeah, it was ugly at certain times. I like what you said, insurance policy on the offensive line. Offensive line depth is incredibly important. And if you can find a gem and find a starter in the third round, that's best case scenario. Hopefully that is what pans out. Interestingly enough, while we're talking about the offensive line, the Ravens picked up Kyle Hamilton's fifth-year option, but did not pick up Tyler Linderbaum's fifth-year option. They say they want to keep Linderbaum long-term. I assume this is just because he's a center, and I think they're going to be able to pay him now, and the money will work out better for the team. What do you think about that, Nick? Is that kind of what the sentiment
Nick,
is?
Do you know how this works and why they did this? Perfect.
So the reason that they did not take the Linderbaum option is because the option is calculated as an average overall offensive lineman in the league. So he would have been overpaid he would have been the best paid center by $5 million.
He would have made $24 million based on it. And Nick, I don't know if you might be right, but I thought it was just the interior guys were like.
No, it's the whole offensive line.
All of them, yeah. So then he'd have been overpaid massively.
Yeah, and that has to tell you that they probably expect. I mean, because he's a free agent if he doesn't sign before the end of this year, so they must be pretty confident that this is almost done.
I would imagine this deal gets done before training camp.
I'd say on a risk timeline, this is probably done sooner.
Yeah.
It's an offensive line contract. It's not going to reset a bloated market. He's going to be the highest paid center by $1 million or $2 million, not $5 million.
I didn't see this baffles me because remember when Suggs, I know it's a different side of the ball, but remember when Suggs wanted to classify as an edge rusher instead of an outside linebacker? Yeah. Because they got paid more, higher annual value.
Yep.
So I'm just surprised they do this only for the offensive line. It's kind of bizarre to me, but I guess it's because they're so interchangeable throughout the duration of a game.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like at some point they could do interior offensive line and tackles as two separate entities because tackles get paid a lot more money than the interior guys, realistically. So, but
also guards go out to tackle all the time too, so then you could be screwing them over.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There could be a Joe Tooney situation where he has to play. He has to play tackle even though he's a true guard. And we've seen instances of that. I think Quentin Nelson's had to do that for the Colts a few times, and he gets paid very highly on the offensive line, as he should. He's a monster. But I think Creed Humphrey got paid last year by the Chiefs, and I think this contract will probably be something similar to that with, plus $1 or $2 million, like British Raven said. That's kind of the trend line of how the contracts are working in the NFL these days. Just take the next best guy, add $1 or $2 million, call it a day.
Call it a day.
Yeah. But Emory Jones Jr., man. Derrick Henry is going to love him in the run game. He's physical and nasty. Malachi Starks gave Goodell the hug on this podium. Emory Jones Jr. does this to fully grown men on the field. He will lift a guy. And he did that to 7 potential first-round edge rushers in the SEC.
Big fan of that.
So why did he fall?
Bad year.
He fell
bad last year. Right?
Yeah. A bad last year, but it was also wildly overshadowed by Will Campbell.
Okay.
So I'm happy that he fell for us, but he could have very much been around 2, maybe even late round 1. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, let's start going through these guys a little quicker as we go down the rounds here. Teddy Buchanan at Cal, linebacker. Don't really know much about this guy other than I've never seen the word Teddy spelled this way. What do we think about Teddy Buchanan as a player?
So he was announced at the draft pick itself was announced in London, which I knew nothing about until 10 minutes before.
Really?
Less said about that, the better. Guy, he will not make headlines coming out of the draft, but what he is a workhorse, is a very consistent tackler. But I hate to say it, I'm not a fan of the pick. He could have been there in the later rounds. This one felt like a pretty big reach for me.
Okay. Do you think that there were other guys on the board that were more glaring needs for the team, or is that you just think this guy wasn't valued highly enough by other organizations?
He wasn't valued highly enough by other teams.
Okay.
But the Ravens perhaps looked at his 5 sacks on the year, 4 pass breakups, 114 tackles, 12 for loss. Started in all 13 games. He's a Raven.
Sounds pretty productive.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you put him on special teams and he affects the game that way, right?
Yeah. I think initially his athletic constraints could limit him to special teams, and then we'll see him rotate in like Chris Board did when he was a Raven.
Okay.
And he played exceptionally well towards the end of the year when he was forced to play more. So
very well, yeah.
Yeah, look, honestly, if you're taking a late fourth round pick and telling me we're going to get Chris Board out of him, I mean, I don't hate it. And obviously, lot to tell, a lot to be done still. But yeah, let's keep moving forward. A couple picks later in the beginning of the 5th round, we take this mammoth human being, Carson Vinson, offensive tackle out of Alabama A&M. Don't think this guy's going to be kicking into guard, right?
You know what? I hate to break it to you. I think he will.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't he like 6'8"?
He's a big boy. But he's
6'7",
314.
6'7", 315, yeah.
He's a big boy. Senior Bowl invite, and we've all seen that clip of him handling Shamar Stewart.
Yeah.
That viral clip that went crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll pull that up.
Yeah, pull that up
so you
can watch Brian's brain spin into smithereens.
No, this one's worth it, and also because, like I said, those highlight packages are just a bunch. It's like NFL players going against let's call them junior varsity players.
Yeah.
Well, Shamar Stewart is.
He's
a big time. He's one of the top edge rushers in the draft. So
I get it. Yeah, that's why I like this way better.
Yeah.
Tries to go inside. He handles.
Look at how aggressive the punch move is off that step out. Bang.
And he played the spin move so well.
The situation.
Yeah.
Which is what the Ravens have lacked at guard, honestly.
This guy
he's going out. He goes in.
This guy would be Dwight Freeney's nightmare.
Yeah.
His hand placement's very good too. If you watch that clip, he gets right under the pads, which gives him basically full pilot of the guy that is moving.
Yeah. I love the pick. I like getting these big, bulky offensive line guys late in the draft and see if they can turn into something. You can't teach size, right? So that we always say that. You can't teach size. So obviously he's a 5th rounder for a reason. He's probably not as technically sound as Will Campbell. But he's bigger. He's got longer arms. And he's got an opportunity to grow, and he doesn't have to start right away, I don't think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is this an insurance policy for Stanley at some point? I mean, is this the we're going to groom him into that?
Yeah. It's one of those, stop me if you've heard this before, the Ravens draft a versatile tackle that can play guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's what I think is going on here.
What do we expect the starting guards to be? Because I think we know the center and the tackles, like the left guard and right guard, it feels like are kind of up in the air at this point. Who do you expect will fill in? Do you think one of these rookies will end up getting a start at one of those positions, or what do we think?
I think Emory Jones Jr. is probably the more likely off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we'll see how the battle for the positions come in preseason. There's no real way of saying it could be one or the other until we actually see them in a Ravens uniform.
Yeah,
you're not going to be able to say anything until you all see what veterans get cut from other teams, cap salary, cap issues, stuff like that. So it's kind of hard. But I mean, Emory Jones sounds like if you had to pick one out of the two, gun to your head, it would probably be Emory Jones.
I will say so. The Ripken guys had him on the show, Carson Vinson, yesterday, and dude is like, I mean, he's saying all the right things. He just sounds like a Raven. Like
he's a high personality guy.
Yeah, he's ready to fucking go to work.
Yeah.
So
I was
love
ready
that.
to run through a wall, man, just listening to him.
I love that about him. So even if he's not going to play, it sounds like he's ready to get to work and try to earn a spot. So
Nice.
Ravens offensive line coach George Warhop was banging the drum for him. So if that's something to go by, George Warhop himself has, he's been in the league for longer than I've been alive almost. 40 years of coaching experience, 27 in the NFL. If a guy like that is going to bang the drum for you that hard, good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying he sees something. So.
I don't know what the cap space, like you said, there could be veterans like Brian said, there could be veterans cut by other teams. And free agency, we still have Brandon Sheriff, who's been pretty good for the Jaguars as a guard for a long time. We still have Jed Wills, who was the left tackle for the Browns, who's only 26 and just, was a top 10 pick 4 or 5 years ago. He could kick into guard. We got Will Hernandez from the Cardinals as well. There's still guys out there in free agency that could make an impact at a guard position if we wanted to go that route too. So anyway, we'll keep moving down the draft board here. Bilal Cone, Western Michigan corner, feels special teamy to me. And we can, I guess, if you want to, we can lump him in with LeJonte Wester, wide receiver out of Colorado. These feels like kind of special teams dart throws late rounds. And do you feel differently about those kind of guys?
So Bilal Cone is a guy that anybody can get behind. No star ratings out of the major recruiting services going into college. A big prove-it guy. Started out at Iowa Central Community College before moving to Indiana State for the 22 season before eventually making it to Western Michigan. 6'1" boundary corner, natural movement ability. Glides through the field, but has some occasional footwork issues, which you'd expect from a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
Initially, like you said, I think contributor on special teams, eventually leading to rotational snaps on defense.
Okay. I like that. And LeJonte Wester, wide receiver?
LeJonte Wester was Shador Sanders' wide receiver.
Okay. So
I posted earlier today that I thought he
that.
tested positive for the clutch gene.
Okay. I like that.
He caught a Hail Mary that he had no business catching.
I like that.
That ball was hilariously off target, but he readjusted and he hauled it in. Where have we heard that from before also?
So
the Baltimore Ravens getting themselves a playmaking undersized wide receiver.
Oh.
Hey, I was thinking about this the other day, and
was when we drafted Mark Clayton.
Well, now
I was thinking about this the other day. Like it just feels like so long ago, and we have so long to go to the season as well. And I know I'm going to forget about this again. We got DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins.
Yeah.
We were talking about Deontay Johnson last time. That was in my head.
Yeah.
But we got DeAndre Hopkins. Like that's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
It felt weird to sit back and then watch the draft and not be begging for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. I know.
And look, I think we could still use a playmaking wide receiver. I think the offense is fine the way it is because Lamar is so good and Derrick Henry is obviously so good, and that's the bread and butter. But I mean, like, I think you could improve upon. Although I think Bateman took a step up last year, and I think Flowers is a good player. I still think that you can improve upon the overall wide receiver depth in general. But I don't think it's necessary because the way the team functions is it doesn't really really require it, right?
And injury stuff, right? I mean, we've seen that's every team, but it's always nice to have somebody there that you can lean on a little bit if somebody goes down.
Yeah.
Maybe looking for a bigger guy too. All those guys are relatively small compared to some of the. Not comparing anyone to Kelvin Benjamin, but you want some taller guys out there. But that's also why we have the 2 tight ends. That's why we have Likely and Andrews to be there for as your safety blanket.
He's taken some strays on this podcast recently, man.
Yeah.
Kelvin Benjamin. By the way, Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper are still free agents. So, wouldn't hate it.
Who knows? Maybe down the line, if the Ravens can clean up some capital, they will go after these guys.
Yeah.
Why does Keenan Allen sound like a Dallas Cowboy?
I think they could clear some space at the place kicker position if they want to, because they drafted a kicker out of Arizona, Tyler Loop. What do we think about this guy? Obviously, we're not kicking experts. What do we think this means? Is this just going to be, a training camp battle between him and Tucker, or are we kind of the writing on the wall for Justin Tucker's career in Baltimore?
The Ravens expended a 6th-round pick on a kicker. The first time in their history that they've drafted one. So that should be a sign.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a passing of the torch and a meeting of your heroes moment for Tyler Loop, who grew up watching Justin Tucker in college. Justin Tucker has been so great for the Ravens for so long, but unfortunately you can't hide away from what was said about him in the media.
Yeah.
But I think the Ravens got the best kicker in the draft with this pick. He wasn't the first to go, but honestly, when you've got the leg in college to make from 62 in a game scenario and clear the netting from 50 plus yards on multiple occasions, you have to make this pick.
Yeah.
He's definitely got the leg. It's I guess after that and I don't know because I didn't watch any of their games. Obviously, does he have the clutch gene? Can he make the kicks when the pressure's on a little bit more?
He has.
You're drafting this really.
Yeah. It's almost like a golfer, right?
Yeah.
You need like a mentally tough guy who can hit those shots when it matters.
This guy only really misses his attempts due to a slight mechanical issue. He's got ice in his veins. The guy looks almost like Justin Tucker when he's kicking the ball. The only thing that's really different in his mechanics is Tyler Loop attacks the ball with such a vicious nature that occasionally causes him to mishit the football. Now that's a minor issue.
Plant leg goes too hard, or
no? So the placement between plant leg and kicking leg sometimes can either be too short or it can just be all out of sync. And that's the issue that Justin Tucker had at the start of the season, where it was going a little bit wrong. His foot was placed the wrong way. But because this guy just hits the ball with all that he's got, he sometimes just gets a little bit out of sync.
Yeah, fair enough. And then the rest of the draft, if you want to highlight any of these guys in particular, I'm just going to go through it. The final 3 picks of the draft: Aeneas Peebles, D-tackle out of Virginia Tech; Robert Longerbeam, cornerback out of Rutgers; and then Garrett Dellinger, offensive guard out of LSU; Emory Jones and Will Campbell's teammate on that offensive line. What do we think about these guys? If you want to highlight any of them in particular, if they have a chance of making the team, obviously, these are really late round picks. You don't see these guys all the time stay on the team or make the team. What do you think about these guys in general?
For Peebles, man, the Ravens flock love this guy already. And it could well be because he hit a perfect worm in front of a kicker at the Senior Bowl practice. I saw that and thought the Ravens got themselves a guy.
6'1", 290. That's a big boy.
He's undersized for his position, though. He's a gap shooting 3-tech DT.
Okay.
Who sees success as a pass rusher. He shows impressive agility and quickness, but because of his undersized nature, he relies almost solely on penetration off the snap, which you can't really guarantee in the NFL. No. So if he can get that right, maybe he makes the team. But he's probably one of the guys that's probably on the outside zone, so to speak.
What about Longerbeam or Dellinger? Did you even want to discuss those guys, or do you think they're just kind of late round dart throws?
I mean, Garrett Dellinger, I'll go to him specifically because I don't think Longerbeam's going to be a player on defense. He'll be a special teams guy.
Yeah.
But stop me if you've heard this before. The Ravens pick up a versatile piece for their offensive line puzzle. This guy has played left guard, left tackle, and center, and then played right guard and right tackle in high school.
Okay.
Who does that remind you of?
Patrick McCarry.
Guess who just left the Ravens?
Patrick McCarry.
And I mean, we've seen a lot of these guys like Patrick Ricard as well, that we draft them as a D tackle, and I mean they'll move them if they feel that they're athletic enough to do something else. I mean, so it's hard for me to argue anything they do really. Yeah. Besides maybe wide receiver drafting, but Zay Flowers and Bateman have been pretty good pickups, unless you want to argue Bateman's injuries, but that's about it.
So we know now the draft is over. We have the players that we're going to have basically after the season. Obviously, we could sign a few free agents. We could make a couple trades, whatever. After the draft, now that we know, where we stand right now, what do you think are the biggest holes on the Ravens team? And where do you think are the biggest strengths, obviously, outside of Lamar?
I think we addressed a lot of the very small holes that we had on the team.
Okay.
We already picked up a wide receiver in free agency. LeJohntay Wester's going to contribute there deep in the depth pool. The offensive line is nice and beefy. There's going to be a fair amount of competition there. But the defense is an absolute monster. A defense wins championships. When you've got a guy like Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, you can't overlook them. You just can't. Do so at your own peril. I think the Ravens go all the way this year.
Yeah, and they address the kicker issue. We'll see if he lives up to what we hope that he will be.
Yeah.
I mean, Christ, it's the way that Tucker kicked at the beginning of last year. It's pretty easy to outkick him at this point.
Yeah.
End of last year was much better, obviously, but I agree with you. It's great to have competition on the offensive line because that was something for the first 6 games that we're all talking about.
Yeah.
Got another year under Zach Orr's belt, and definitely we saw it at the end of second half of last year, how comfortable that D was playing together. So, man, I just it's a scary thing to think about. It's a great thing to think about, honestly.
Absolutely.
Just health. It's going to come down to health.
I like the consistency of the coordinators too. We don't have flip-flopping coordinators like we seem to always have because our guys get poached everywhere else. There's a lot of the top teams in the league. For instance, the Lions lost both their offensive and defensive coordinators this year, I believe, to head coaching jobs. So I think it's getting more consistency, getting more familiar with the offense, getting even, a season under the belt with Lamar and Derrick Henry, being able to, see what they have together and what they can and can't do. I think, honestly, look, I think we were the best roster in the AFC over the course of the last 2 years. It didn't work out for us in the playoffs. I think going into this year, we're in the same boat. I still think I'd probably take the Eagles roster over ours, but they're in the NFC, and if we see them, we don't have to see them to the Super Bowl. So,
is Chuck Pagano coming back this year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Senior defensive backs assistant.
Big fan of that.
Yeah.
Getting smart guys back there.
I just didn't know. I knew we brought him in midway through last year or whenever we did. I just didn't know if he was re-upping again this year or if he was going back into retirement or what. So.
Yeah, and to Dusty's point real quick, and I'm not trying to steer away from the Ravens, but it was a good point that Dusty just brought up, is the Lions lost both their coordinators, and we saw that 2 seasons ago with the Eagles when they lost both their coordinators. They took a step back. Now, their roster is uber talented. None of us are taking that away.
And Mike McDonald.
It does make a change. So, and we cannot predict injuries, and we can't predict who's going to get cut and the Ravens are going to pick up. And we can't predict who the hell we're going to cut because Mark Andrews might not be a Raven to free up that capital for other picks. So I don't want to start getting into predictions of how good or bad we're going to be, but I'll take our roster over the other 3 rosters in our division. I'll start there.
For sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know who's going to play quarterback for the Steelers. So,
and by the way,
who knows?
What were you about to say, Brian?
I saw that this in post June 1, that's when I know the new league year starts like March 13th or something like that. But post June 1, if you pick up a person, you can spread out their salary a little bit longer. So I think that's probably when Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Because at this point, what is the wait? I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, OTAs haven't started or anything like that, so there's no. What's the rush? Besides, I mean, I'm sure he's got the playbook. He's already thrown to Metcalf.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's probably thrown to other guys too, unless whatever the family stuff going on is serious enough to take him away from training. But he said he's still training. So. And
like you said, he has personal stuff going on. So look, what if he signs? Then people are like, why aren't you at the voluntary mini camps, stuff like that? Like all of a sudden, he sets himself up for failure.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good point.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nick, if you have any other stuff you want to go over real quick, I'm more than happy to do that. But we've taken a lot of your time this morning. I will probably evening where you are. I'm not 100% sure what time it is. But thank you once again for joining us. Like we always say, you're really awesome. We really appreciate you coming on and giving us your expertise. If there's anything else you want to plug or anything you want to say, go ahead and do that now, man.
The only thing that I want to say is I'm completely free until the end of the show.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
We haven't spoken about undrafted free agency.
Okay.
Yeah.
My lord, we got some guys.
So are they already a majority done? Because I know that usually happens right after the seventh round is over.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of UDFAs that you want to highlight specifically.
Yeah, there are 3 that I think could make the team.
Okay. And who are they and what position? What are we looking at?
We picked up a guy called Jason Jones, defensive tackle, 6'6", 355 pounds, formerly of Auburn. Has the potential to fill that Michael Pierce role.
Okay.
Violent
that.
hands, natural power. This guy could be a problem. Now, he needs some refinement because obviously undrafted free agent.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a guy that could, like Michael Pierce, make the team from that position.
So you see him maybe rotating with Travis Jones or something in the middle? Okay.
I believe so, yes. I feel like that could be his role.
Okay.
There's also a guy called Sonan Toe, running back, who I'm pretty high on. Scored 25 touchdowns last year on 109 carries.
Jesus.
He's a fast boy. Yeah.
Where is he playing? Mount Olive?
He was Monmouth.
Oh, okay. Well, Brooks is familiar with Monmouth.
Played a few games against them.
Yeah.
Also, there was also a linebacker called Jay Higgins, who I'm very high on. Tackling machine, 2-time AP All-American. Is unsized, but he makes up for it in his production.
Tackling
those are the 3 guys really that I'm high on.
I love that.
Do we still have a run? And I could just be making this up. But didn't we have a run there for like 10 years, 12 years where an undrafted free agent made the team?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of these guys will probably make it if, not as a special team or as something else. So you like the running back. Do you think he has a chance to get time on offense? Absolutely. Actually, with, Justice Hill and Derrick Henry still being there, Keaton Mitchell.
It all depends on how Keaton Mitchell reacts to training camp and his role being increased.
Yeah.
We all saw that injury. It wasn't nice. So Zone could be the guy that fits in on the practice squad, and if something goes awry, he could be a guy that gets called up.
His name's Stone?
Sone, I think.
Stone. Okay.
Yeah.
Stone. I thought you said Stone.
Yeah, and a lot of times these, again, and we keep talking special teams, a lot of times these offensive guys that don't have a place are going to start there.
Yeah.
That are athletic. So,
can I give a that's a shame for the NFL and a guy who should have been drafted?
Sure.
Do you want to do the intro or no?
Yeah, let's do it. Here, I got it.
Former Florida State quarterback Jordan Travis had to retire from the NFL.
Yeah, shit, this sucks.
Yeah.
It just stinks. I mean, that's a shame. I mean, he gave his all for that team. And obviously, the game is not fair. And I'm sure he had an insurance policy taken out before this. Florida State did not make the college football playoff because he went down. And then even his backup went down. So even the rest of the team hurt because of this injury. But just a shame. And I listen to Chris Sims a lot. Chris Sims does great quarterback evaluation. He actually had Lamar first in that draft that everyone went. He said this guy had a future as a long-term backup quarterback. And look, I know a backup quarterback is the most sought-after position, but you're still in the NFL, and you still have an opportunity to play. I mean, look, I love Tyrod Taylor. So that's a shame that he had to retire because his body just did not recover well, and he was medically advised to retire.
Yeah, that sucks, man. And I mean, you think about the money that he's missing out on too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy had, like you said, it made to go and be a backup in the league, and to have that ripped away from him. I know how that feels because I can't do impact sports anymore for my shoulder. So now, granted, I was never going to earn millions from it, but the feeling is all the same.
Yeah, it's always that thing like for guys and girls that have played sports. There's always a time that it comes to an end. It just really sucks when you're told that it has to come to an end earlier than you had thought it would. So, especially for all intents and purposes, like it shouldn't have come to an end really. Yeah. because he was going to go play in the league. So, yeah, that does suck. That's a good call, Brian.
Yeah. That sucks for sure. I mean, any other stuff you guys want to talk about football wise before we transition into some Orioles stuff and some Capital stuff?
Yeah, because you got me right on 5 to 10 minutes.
What do you want to talk about more, Caps or Orioles?
Well, I'd rather talk about Caps, but I wanted to do one more football thing. And honestly, It's another that's a shame. And I don't mean to be, skewing negative. Really sucks about John Elway and whatever situation's going on there with him and his former business partner, agent, and for all intents and purposes, best friend, it seems like, passing away after falling out of a golf cart. I know Brooks has a little bit more information on that. He can maybe elaborate on it. We might just want to not talk about it. But that stinks big time.
Yeah, it does. I hope there's nothing nefarious going on there in terms of alcohol and stuff like that. Because Elway was driving, but yeah, I mean, that's when stuff like that happens in front of you, it sucks either way. I just hope it, like I said, hope nothing else was going on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it only takes one bad fall.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, I've lost friends like that before as well. So,
because when you say golf cart, knowing us, I think literally they're golfing.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was at whatever time of night it was, and they were at some sort of concert venue or something, or festival. That just stinks. Hopefully nothing bad here and everyone just owns up to it. But my last that's a shame is Tyreke Halliburton's dad going out on the court in the NBA and just getting in Giannis Antetokounmpo's face. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, I know we're not a big NBA show, but Giannis Antetokounmpo had no idea that it was Tyrese Halliburton's father.
Yeah.
That man is lucky he didn't get walloped by a 6'10" Greek god of a human being.
He definitely has played his last game at Milwaukee, by the way.
Oh, without it.
Yeah. So, I saw that too. I thought it was absolutely insane.
But at least they all came out and apologized. All three of them came out and apologized.
Yeah. And I think, I don't think there was any ill intentions, honestly, but it was weird. For sure. Let's transition into the Caps. We'll talk about them quickly while we still have Brian. And then we'll go and we'll talk in depth about this Orioles-Yankees series that we just watched. Capitals win in 5, going to round 2, beat the Canadiens. We still don't really know who we're going to play in round 2 yet. I don't believe
we play Carolina.
We do play Carolina, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we play Carolina. I assume that series doesn't start for a couple days at least, maybe over the weekend or next week, whenever. But what did you see out of the team in the series? What did you see in the game last night, Bri? We'll go to you first, obviously, because you're running on a time crunch.
They looked fast. They looked good. They looked like they got outplayed for the first 10 minutes of the first period, and somehow in the first 10 minutes they were up 2-0. I think they had 3 shots on goal and had 2 goals. And I'm not blaming the goalie whatsoever because he had the goalie for the Canadiens had a great rest of the game. The star of the game, without a doubt, was Logan Thompson, the goalie for the Capitals. He was so stellar. Canadians gave everything they had. Canadians are a young and upcoming team. I think their average age is about 24 to 25 years old. Mm-hmm. I'm still stunned at how well the Caps are playing. It seems like an inspired squad that just got they call lightning in a bottle for a season. I hope it continues, obviously, but they looked good and they dominated the majority of that game. And Tom Wilson, not only a good-looking man, just a great player. I just thought he was literally going to be an enforcer. I mean, the man, I think, is second on the team in goals behind Ovi, I think. So just a good-looking game. I can't say I watched every single game of the series, but it was a good showing. And now I look forward to the next one.
Yeah, it's nice. They're probably going to have a little bit of time off. I guess it depends on what happens in this Maple Leafs Senators game tonight. If that ends up going to 7, I think that'll push back the Eastern, the second round to a little bit later. But none of the series in the Western Conference have finished yet. All of them are 3-2, and they all play tonight or tomorrow night. So I would imagine the Caps might have the weekend off, honestly.
It's all about TV rights, correct?
Yeah. I don't know exactly what the schedules are and everything like that, how it works. I don't know if it gets pushed up because of sweeps, that kind of stuff. But yeah, obviously they're going to keep the playoffs moving, and good for the Caps. Good for Ovechkin for continuing his hot goal scoring into the playoffs. By the way, scored at least 3 times in the series. Maybe four was a 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
4 goals in 5 games. You keep doing that, we're going to win a lot of hockey games, right?
A lot of hockey games.
Yeah, and he's coming. He's kind of staring down the barrel now with not as big of a great chase or grade A chase, if you will, for most goals all time, including playoffs, who Gretzky still has as well. I think he's like 43 goals away or something like that. And I didn't know this, but he said he's coming back next year. He has announced that. I heard that last night, I believe, or 2 nights ago. And shit, he could pass that next year too. Not that that's as big of a deal, but still, it's another record that he's staring down the barrel of.
Yeah.
He got his 30th career postseason power play goal last night, which ties Nicholas Lidstrom and Joe Pavelski. So,
Joe Pavelski. Wow, that's a name I haven't heard.
Names.
British Raven, you watch any hockey? Do you care at all?
I have not ever watched a game of hockey, but it's really nice to hear the community actually talk well of a team.
There you go.
I'll say this.
Positivity that we can get, the better.
There you go.
Yes. British Raven, I will say this. The hockey playoff line after a team is eliminated is one of the best things, if not the best things I see in sports every year, where the 2 teams just go down and shake hands like you're 10 years old again, like you're playing 10U, whatever, name that sport. And you shake hands and give kudos to people that, like one guy, Savard, was retiring yesterday. People specifically would stop him in that line and delay it, which is fine and amazing. I love every single second of that. It's that or whenever someone wins the College World Series and they just run out of that dugout, I lose my mind. Those are the 2.
And also, like, I mean, we saw like all the hatred between Wilson and basically the whole Canadians team and the fan base. And I mean, they can get along and shake hands after the game and say, all right, that was a tough series. So
that's the awesome thing about the hockey playoffs is they get really chippy, but afterwards they give respect where it's due. And that's how sports should be. And we lose sight of that, I think, a lot.
Without a doubt.
Good for the Capitals. Awesome that they were able to advance to round 2 after having an awesome season. Good for Ovechkin. And we'll see what Carolina Hurricanes have to offer. And probably going to have to wait until next week's pods to discuss that series because I don't think they're going to be playing this weekend, but I'm not 100% sure what the schedule is. Anyway, let's transition to actually right before we do baseball, I saw that the Villanova Wildcats got one of the top point guard recruits in the country, Caden Lewis. Just wanted to throw that in the little "That's a Shame" segment. Fuck that guy. Hate him now and everyone that goes to Nova.
Well, we got a top 10, so I'm okay with it.
We got Darius Adams.
So the Terps are getting some guys in there. I think they're going to be kind of a piecemeal thrown together team this year. But just wanted to mention that real quick because this Terps basketball season was really fun until it wasn't. Baseball
with the Orioles, I want to get this out of the way right now. I personally want to get it out of the way.
Go ahead.
This wasn't a bench clearing brawl. This is Heston Kjerstad sliding into second base, and the shortstop, I can't remember, it was the shortstop or second baseman, jumped to catch the errant throw by the catcher and came down. Kjerstad is not in the right here. I'm sorry. That player is going for the ball. What's that?
He's not in the right or the wrong?
He's not in the right. I mean, Kjerstad slide in second. The baseball player, the second baseman for the Yankees, is only going to try to pick the ball off so that Kjerstad can't get third base. Kjerstad was mad that he might land on him. It's like he's just playing the ball.
I think Kjerstad's mad because he got teabagged.
Okay, maybe. What is that guy supposed to do?
I agree, but I don't know. I don't know what Kjerstad was saying really. So
it was something like "Don't go that high" to get that or something. You could see him say the word "high," but what do you flag him? Do you flag the Yankee guy for targeting with his nuts? Like you can't do that.
No,
I think Kjerstad just has bad memories of the Yankees. That's all.
He's probably like, why is it always you guys? Why is it always you guys? Like it's starting to get old. But I'm with you, Brian. There's that was not not something that should have been anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So
I love the clickbait. It's like brawl. That wasn't a brawl.
No.
But I did love that Mateo was first out of the dugout.
Yeah.
Did love that.
You got to be the energy guy if you're not hitting, right?
Yeah.
Got to do something.
So,
I appreciate that tagline change.
Orioles take 2 out of 3 versus the Yankees. The middle game, I don't really want to talk too much about because it was not very fun to watch for the Yos. Kyle Gibson in his first start back with the Orioles, not great. Brooks, what did you see? I mean, we'll talk about it just quickly. Let's get the bad out of the way so we can talk about the good. The first and third games of the series. What'd you see out of Gibson? Gave up 4 homers in the first inning, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to explain here, just cock shots.
Yeah.
I mean, and to be fair, you could throw every pitch as a cock shot and probably not give up 4 home runs most of the time in an inning. Like it was almost like, Jesus Christ, really?
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, law of averages, you're going to miss a barrel at some point. They're going to pop it up a ground out or something. Yeah. Like it's just, I don't know. First start, obviously, we know he was rushed back to get here. Velo doesn't look like it's quite there yet. Slider and curveball looked okay. Not terrible, not great, but first start. I will say that I was a little happier of Charlie Morton spotting up his curveball when he came in afterwards. Dotting a couple curveballs.
Is this your new Mike Bauman, Charlie Morton?
No, like I'm like frustrated for him.
Fair enough.
Because I'm sitting here watching him and I'm like, dude, you are like, the stuff is there. I'm watching it. It's just like, man, just get the fucking command there, and you're going to be a good pitcher this year. Like, he's going to have a good year if he just figures out the command. Like, he's right there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he just can't put it together yet. So
yeah. It hasn't been pretty.
But it's the same thing I said about Baker last year. I said about Bauman last year. I'm like, the guy I'm watching the stuff, I see it. Like, they've got, like, the stuff looks awesome. And Baker this year has figured it out. He's throwing strikes a lot more. He's still missing down the middle here and there, but he's making clutch pitches now. So, and everybody wanted to DFA him last year and DFA Aiken last year. And I mean, they're playing a big part. I think Aiken's probably going to get another spot starter, a couple spot starts here down the stretch. So could be our Albert Suarez for this year.
Could be. I didn't like the massive use of our bullpen last night, but also we have an off day today, so that just could have been the reasoning to get everyone in. We went through the mud in order to get that victory in terms of our bullpen usage.
And we need to win games like that, especially against the Yankees. You're going to have to go through an 162-game season. You're going to have to win ugly games, especially against your division rivals. And we really need to start chipping away a couple of these ugly wins because 12-18 start. That's not what we were looking for going into the season.
I'll say I don't even think that was an ugly win. I think that was one of our better looking wins in a while. Defensively, that was one of our better games of the year, I would say. Some of the catches that were made and just the overall defensive play, the pitching was good. The bullpen was relatively good. I know we walked a couple guys still, which is hamstringing us, and they end up getting around. But all in all, I mean, we gritted that win out. I think that let's keep playing like that. Put up 5 runs.
Yeah.
So I do not want to be negative Nancy here. The Yankees kicked 2 balls yesterday that both led to runs. Now, the one ball, I can't even fault the first baseman. I can't fault Goldschmidt. The ball was smoked, but the pitcher didn't get over, and Adley slid feet first into first base. And then the other one, why am I blanking on his name right now? Stellar shortstop for the Yankees. Yeah, I mean, he kicked that ball trying to turn 2 and looked up before the ball was in his glove.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to play negative Nancy, but we got mildly gifted that game.
Sure.
I think you have to make your own look, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think the Orioles played well enough to make their own look.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's one of those things like you put the ball on the ground and like you see it put the ball in play and good things happen instead of popping up and striking out. Like
you're right.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes the other way. I mean, we've probably given away a handful of games this year from our defense as well. So, but it's nice to have some luck go our way.
Did anyone listen to the game?
Yeah.
I was just watching on television.
I was back and forth between volume on the Caps and volume on the O's.
When Liriano came up, we had first and second no outs. And I think it was Ben McDonald who said, I think this would be a great time to lay down a bunt. And obviously didn't go our way, but
yeah.
I don't like that Laureano's hitting 5th and Mountcastle's hitting 7th. I thought Laureano had way too many big time at bats, big time spots yesterday, and it's not his fault. It's obviously it's random kind of based on the game, but I mean Mountcastle's a better hitter than fucking Ramon Laureano. Why is he hitting 7th and Laureano's hitting 5th?
I think that I think with how bad that Mountcastle started, that they moved him down the lineup to take some pressure off. Yeah. And with Laureano being hot the past week, they were just like, all right, well, let's throw him here. Like, I get it, but I mean, I don't love that he's in a pressure situation like that either.
Yeah.
And what you say about the bunt, like, hopefully he's able to bunt. There are guys who just suck at bunting. Or were they just like, all right, we're playing the hot hand. Like, we're just going to let him swing. So I don't know what.
I do want to mention, too, still, we have problems with this all year. Runners in scoring position, 1 for 10.
1 for 10.
We need to figure this shit out, guys.
Yep.
We need to get some clutch hits, and I know it's got to be there. It's got to come some point. Also, just wanted to shout out Ramon Urias, who's playing excellent while Jordan Westberg has been hurt. He did the same thing last year when Westberg was hurt in was it August or September? He played really well. He elevated, and we see this for stretches of the season. The only thing is with Ramon, can he do it throughout the course of the whole season, especially when he's not going to be getting consistent ABs the whole year, which is a really hard thing to do. But he has been a super valuable guy for us over the last couple of years, just based on his positional versatility and his ability to go on these kind of hot streaks at the plate. So I wanted to mention him. And also I want to mention Brian Baker. Shout out to Brian Baker, because everyone besides Brooks was writing him off before the season started. And he was fucking amped last night when he got that strikeout on that fucking high hanging changeup that he put in right in the middle of the plate. I don't know what the fuck that was, but got away with it.
I want to qualify my statement. Ramon Urias wears a purple glove. Does he wear it for a foundation? Because the last time I brought up colored gloves, I got roasted because Danny Colon wearing like a green or blue glove.
I don't know. That's new this year. I don't know.
A purple glove.
By the way, Daniel Colon has not given up a run yet this year. It's not good.
I don't care.
And Joe Racky with the Hessen curse head stuff. Shut up.
I don't see anything about Ramon's purple glove, so go ahead and roast away if you'd like.
Just why are you wearing purple gloves? Like, it's that Freddie Prinze Jr. movie, Summer Catch. Like, just you don't need a flame on your glove. Just be a normal dude. But he made a great play. That ball hit him in the heel, and then he caught it midair, and he actually took time to re-grip, get that grip to go to first base. But oh man, purple gloves, blue gloves, gray gloves. We're black and brown.
Are you just black, tan, brown gloves? That's
it. See, the blue is the laces. I'm talking about the full-on color of the glove is black.
Yeah.
It's like British Raven. Would you play with a purple football?
A football's a football.
Thank you. See, a glove is a glove. It doesn't need to have colors. It doesn't need to be Dippin' Dots out there. Okay, I don't need.
But it can be, because it's fun sometimes.
Yeah, Brian doesn't like fun.
Yeah.
I gave it up. All right. I'll see you guys later. I got to rock and roll. You guys enjoy the rest of the podcast. Nick, thank you very much for coming on, man.
All right, Brian. Have a good day.
Hey, buddy.
Thanks, bud.
Hey, buddy. All right. So we're going down to a 3-man. After Brian Baker, obviously, Felix Bautista came in, shut the door last night, and that was awesome to see, getting out of some pressure situations. What did you see out of the mountain, Brooks, and what have you seen from him from
where'd you get that chi, Danny?
From the start of the year now, what have you seen? I think the mechanics have gotten a lot tighter. He's not flying open and leaving a lot of fastballs up in the zone anymore like he was at the beginning of the year. And if he is putting those fastballs up in the zone, he's doing it on purpose, playing off that splitter. What do you see? You're the pitching expert, so to speak, on this podcast.
I saw Chi dotted on the high and outside corner to I don't even know who he's throwing against me. It wasn't Dominguez, was it?
No, I think it was Trent Grisham.
I think right before that it was Dominguez. I can't remember. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, he's getting better and better every outing. The splitter still looks awesome. I mean, he's still running that thing 89 to 91. We all saw he was up to 99.2 last night. Again, I'll say it, like, it's nice that this keeps creeping up, but I'll take 97, 98 all day with that splitter. I don't give a shit. If he gets back to 102 or 101, wherever you want him to be at, he's dotting his stuff right now. He's locating. Like, that slider that he has now looks pretty good. I think he overuses it at times sometimes, but it looks good. It's a nice little a nice little addition. So yeah, I mean, he's only given up, like, I know we said he had like that elevated ERA maybe a week or two ago, but he's only given up runs in that first game, I believe, that he came in. Since then, he hasn't given up a run. If I remember correctly, I might have missed one, but he's gotten better and better every single outing. And so there's nothing more to add. I mean, he's doing everything that you would hope that he's doing, that you wanted him to do coming into the season.
Yeah.
And last night was a high leverage. I mean, we say leverage like that's an annoying word to say, but that was the highest leverage situation he's had all year. One run against your division rival to take the series. Love it. And then he came up clutch. So
we needed the mountain at his best last night, and that's what he provided.
Yeah. What have you seen out of him so far this season, and just out of the early part of the season for the Orioles in general? For the bullpen has been pretty good. Do you have anything you want to speak to on that, Nick?
You know, it's not difficult to be better than the starting pitching, right? There's been so much to be said about the inconsistency.
Yeah.
That's what really shone the light on the bullpen, is that they had to come in and save the game multiple times.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we seem to be getting on a level now, which is fun. We're seeing quality starts now out of our guys. So let's get this all leveled out and let's bring it all together and have a consistent game.
And have a good weekend series against Kansas City, who's been a kind of a kryptonite team for us over the course of the last few years. I do want to point out just one last thing on Batista. Really important that he got those first three guys out because Aaron Judge was eating baseballs for breakfast last night, and I did not want to see him get up into the box again. He was 3 for 3. His batting average, by the way, for the season up to 427.
That's 1 month. April. It's 27, 10 home runs.
I know. It's fucking
I mean, if you want to say for the season, but let's frame it this way. For 1 month, 427, 10 home runs. I mean, the guy is just
crazy. Dude.
He's a freak of nature.
And we talked about how bad. Remember how slow he started last year? Hopefully he hits that lull at the end of the season this year.
I don't know, man. It just kind of feels like whenever he's healthy now, he's just going to go. I don't know if it's going to stop, and I don't think it matters who they put around him in the lineup, because we all thought he was going to have at least I did. I thought he was going to have a little bit of a drop off without Soto protecting him behind him in the lineup, and it just doesn't fucking matter. It seems like
he's going to get the Bonds treatment here soon.
We're
going to have to. I mean,
other baseball stuff I wanted to mention. The Colorado Rockies won last night, avoiding the worst start from a baseball team since 1901. They are 5-25. Only one team since 1901 has started the season 4-26, and that was the 1988 Orioles, who lost, I believe, 20 games in a row to start.
0-18, I think.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah. So good for the Rockies, I guess, for avoiding history in a bad way there. Also, unfortunate, saw Mike Trout have some knee discomfort running to first base last night against the Mariners, and he got pulled from the game. Hopefully that is nothing serious. Baseball needs that guy desperately to stay healthy. And it just sucks that for whatever reason, he just seems like he's snake bit, man.
Hopefully it's not serious.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as far as the Orioles go, like I said, we got this matchup against Kansas City. They've been kind of whooping our ass over the course of the last couple seasons, including in the playoffs last year. And of course, they have one of the very best players in baseball, in Bobby Witt Jr., who just continues to perform unbelievably well. What a great player that guy is. So yeah. Any other stuff you guys have Orioles wise that you want to talk about?
Povich is still not really impressing me this season. Just stuff wise. I hope that gets figured out because I really like that kick changeup that I don't think he's throwing it as much. It's the same thing that Baker's throwing. I don't know if they learned it from the same guy or what. I hope his stats are okay, and he's getting through some of these games, but I hope that just gets a little bit better with command wise. And we brought this up with British Raven brought this up with the bullpen coming in to basically save the starting pitching's ass. Let's just stop fucking walking people. Christ. I'd rather give up hits. I mean, give up hits. I feel a little bit better than you just walking everybody. And we're on like record pace for the amount of times those are coming around to bite us in the ass. Mountcastle broke his 0-for-18 slump with his two-run homer last night. That was nice to see finally. I think he's batting under 200 at the moment. And I think that's it. We have, I forget. We got Sugano. Who's going for us this series?
I'll pull it up here in a sec.
I just saw it. But the nice thing is also that we just went through like one of the hardest stretches out of any team in the MLB this year. And then May at the moment, there's only 3 teams that we face in May that are not under 500. So
yeah.
If we're going to capitalize and go on a run, now's the time.
Yeah. The 3 starters projected are Dean Kramer, Steve Sugano, and Kyle Gibson. That Kyle Gibson start is against Cole Reagans, who was in the top 5 in the Cy Young voting last year. So I don't know if he's going to be pitching that game.
And scorched us in the first outing. He's going to pitch that game. It's not going to really matter.
Yeah. Well, him or Morton, right?
No, Morton's in the bullpen for now. Hyde said until he starts feeling a little bit more comfortable. He's not ruling him out to come back and start again if his commands, if he figures it out. But I think it's the right move. I mean, and honestly, he hasn't looked terrible. He hasn't looked terrible out of the bullpen yet. And it looks like it's getting a little bit better, not much. But
so based on their projected starters for the next week, we have a 4-man rotation going just for this week, and then we have a gap day Saturday, May 10th against the Angels. It's Kramer, Sugano, Gibson, Povich, and then Kramer, Sugano, Gibson, and then a blank day, and then Povich. So I guess they're going to pull somebody up for a spot start, and maybe that's when Morton gets back if he starts feeling more comfortable by then. I don't really know. Obviously, this stuff's not set in stone, but that's just kind of the plan in place as of now. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Injury stuff. You want to go through some injury stuff updates with the O's?
I mean, yeah. Is there anything new since Tuesday? I don't know.
I just want to give everybody just a little bit of a timeline and like where we're at on some stuff. So Gary Sanchez, we know, went on the 10-day IL April 28th. He's currently in a soft brace, and we don't really know the timeline on that one, but the soft brace thing was new to me. So he's could be a little bit longer. Westberg, left hamstring strain. He's on the 10-day DL, retroactive to April 27th. He was initially day-to-day, but expected to be a short absence still. O'Neill still on the 10-day DL as of April 24th. So he should be returning here early May. Colton Cowser moved to the 60-day IL, expected to be late May, early June. So that wasn't really that much of a surprise. They just had to move him to that because he's still, he's got a broken thumb. It's going to take a little bit.
And that's retroactive. So it's not like he has to start 60 days from now. It's 60 days from when he got hurt.
Yeah. So that's our position players. Pitchers, obviously the burning point right now. Zach Eflin with the lat strain. We all know that it was mild. Side sessions are ongoing now, and they're not sure when he's going to return, but he is throwing side sessions. Grayson, elbow and lat. He is still shut down, I believe, and he's getting reevaluated again here in early May. Kyle Bradish, last I saw, he had thrown his 4th bullpen session. I would assume he's probably got another one coming here soon. From when I saw that he posted that, his projected return is still August. I think it could be a little bit earlier than that based on where he's at in his rehab. Tyler Wells, he's still targeted for August, and he's a little bit behind Bradish for some reason.
He threw a side session yesterday.
His first one, yeah.
Yeah.
McDermott, lat strain, he had his first rehab start, 1.2 innings, 1 run allowed, and is still progressing well. Trevor Rogers had his first one and struggled, 4 earned runs over 1 2/3. Cody Petit still has he's got right shoulder inflammation as of April 21st. We don't really have another update on that. If I had to guess, he's probably going to get DFA'd. Albert Suarez, shoulder strain, awaiting an MRI, is awaiting MRI results before the next step. So he's completely shut down. And again, I don't expect to see him back this year.
Yeah.
And then Andrew Kittredge threw a live BP yesterday, said he felt great.
Oh, yeah.
Rehab assignment is going to be
soon.
Next. So it looks like Andrew Kittredge could be coming in to shore up the bullpen in the next, month or two. Brooks is thinking June. So, yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, probably closer to June to feed back into it.
Is that the washing machine?
No, that's the vacuum.
Oh, DJ Roomba.
He's singing you the song of its people.
DJ Roomba.
Singing you the song of its people. I love that. All right. Yeah. I mean, anything else you guys want to bring up? I think we're pretty much covered all the bases here, baseball wise. Yeah. I think we've pretty much hit everything. I don't know if you want to do call-ins, get Joe on here for a little while.
I would like to do. We are going to get Joe in here. Have you guys talked about the Falcons fines? That kid stinks.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the show. Yeah.
Stop.
That kid probably isn't seeing Christmas for another few years.
Yeah, seriously.
Stinks like how Plankton says it. That guy stinks.
Thanks.
This guy stinks. We have the PGA Tour Championship coming up, Dust.
Yeah, the PGA weekend? Championship. No, it's in a couple weeks. We have this is kind of the lull of the golf season here after the Masters. We hit the Heritage, which is an awesome tournament, and then we have the Zurich, which is a unique tournament, which a 2-person show.
It just ended.
It just ended, and then we have the Byron Nelson this week, which is kind of like a lower tier event. And then next week we ramp back up. Usually we play at Quail Hollow and then go into the PGA Championship. But this year, because the PGA Championship is being competed at Quail Hollow, they're playing that what used to be the Wells Fargo Championship. Now it's called the Truist Championship. I guess BB&T got on Wells Fargo's ass. And that's going to be played in Philly. Really like an hour and a half away from where I am, but it's it's music festival weekend, so I don't think I'm going to be able to make it, which is really cool. But yeah, Michael Block won the PGA Professional, or finished highly enough in the PGA Professional championships to qualify for the PGA Championship again this year. So another block party this year at the PGA in Quail Hollow, which is going to be awesome. You're not a huge golf guy, right, British Raven?
I tend to catch it whenever I see it on the sports channels when nothing else is on.
Okay.
I saw Rory do his thing.
Yeah.
Really happy for the guy. He's been through an awful lot, so to see him finally make the Grand Slam, it was nice.
Yeah.
I think he might go on a run now since he's got the weight off his shoulders.
Who's the favorite like British golfer? Is it Tommy Fleetwood? Is it was it Lee Westwood back in the day? Rory's Irish, technically.
Oh, you mean actual? I thought you meant like.
I guess I don't know. I don't know how. Do you pull for Northern Ireland as well? Like, do you pull for the whole kingdom?
I mean, Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom, so we do tend to.
Yeah.
The weird thing about how the United Kingdom works is we only tend to claim them if they're doing well.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So, yes, we claim Rory.
Okay. I got it. There you go. All right. So, Rory's definitely the favorite over there. And then I'm sure Tommy Fleetwood and, a couple other guys. Do you support like the other Euros, John Rahm and those kind of guys? Ludwig Oberg?
I mean, I think golf is a sport that you have a general appreciation for anyway.
Okay.
So I would say yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I just think that Roy's got to go on a run here, don't you think?
I would think so. I mean, this is it's set up as well as it could be for him from the a standpoint of where the majors are being played. Quail Hollow is a place he's won 4 times before. I believe the tournament that's hosting the British this year, which for whatever reason I can't remember, is a place that he won the British before. So it's set up for him to have a fucking massive year, and he's playing the best golf he's played in a really long time, obviously. So hopefully he cleared his demons at Augusta.
Who won the Zurich?
Besides the demons, I think it was
Rory and Shane and Lowry were pushing for it.
Yeah, it was Andrew Novak and Ben Griffin.
Novak, dude, he's been in the top of a lot of stuff recently.
Yeah. Actually, the only reason Rory played in that tournament as opposed to playing the week before in the Heritage is because him and Shane Lowry won the tournament last year, and he made a vow to Shane Lowry that they would come back and defend their title. And I think they finished like top 20 in the tournament, but never really competed to win.
They were top 10 for a little bit when I tuned in.
Yeah, the Hoyes guards actually had a really good week too. Those guys are really really good. They could win any tournament they play too. So putting them on a team, that made a lot of sense. Yeah, couple weeks until until we get another major. So
yeah, another Fizzy Wickets reference in here.
Yeah. I think Paul saw one British video ever, and
that's when they said that in it.
Yeah.
I guess one last thing here is the Kentucky Derby is Saturday. I feel like we should do some kind of like a randomizer or something, since we all don't know anything about horse racing, just to make it fun.
I'm in. We can like draw names out of a hat, or we can post something on social where we can pick our horses and see if people want to fade us or ride with us.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. That's at 7:00 here, just an hour and a half down the road from where I live. So that'll be a good time. Everyone's having a bunch of derby parties.
Yeah. Brooks, you want to send out the link so Joe can call in?
Yeah. Yeah, and then also Dusty, do we have any bets? We're gonna start putting out all of Dustin's bets that he makes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a quiet couple weeks here as we get into the second major of the year. I'll probably start not this week at the Byron Nelson. I don't think I'm going to take much just because it's it's kind of a smaller field, smaller tournament. Don't know quite as much about a lot of the guys in the tournament. I think this could be. I know Jordan Spieth's playing in this tournament because he's trying to make his way onto that Ryder Cup team. This could be a good spot for Jordan Spieth to maybe break through. He's looking for his career Grand Slam as well at the PGA Championship. He has won all of the other 3 majors except for the PGA Championship. And now that he's seen Justin Thomas win a couple weeks ago, and he's seen Rory win the Grand Slam before he did, maybe he's got a little extra motivation. But with him, it's not ever been about the talent. It's always been about what's between the ears, which was the problem for Rory for a long time, and is such the problem with golfers in general.
So
it's just
if we really open up your phone right now, you have 0 bets here between today and Tuesday.
The only bet I have really going, other than Steve Sugano to win the Rookie of the Year, which we gave out before the show. I haven't placed a bet in a couple of days. The only thing I have going is the Thunder to win the championship, which I placed. I placed that bet. Let's see when.
Is that Steve?
I placed that bet November.
He's got
20th.
Steve.
He's got it. It's signed, dude. Look at that. November 27th, 2024. I placed that bet. It's 100 to win 525, and then the cash out is 180. So yeah, we got that going.
Yeah. So we'll post whatever. I'm sure Dustin does a lot of NBA betting as well. So we'll post some NBA bets as they start feeling a little bit better to him. Yeah.
Well, look, when we get into the second round, I'm going to start probably betting a little bit more. I want to see the better players face off against each other, and I want to see who's healthy. These first series are just kind of cleaning up the league a little bit. But anyway, yeah, we got our buddy Arkansas Joe Racky coming on to the show.
Bring him in.
Here. Bring him out. What's up, Joe? How you doing? Great day to be a hat.
Great day to be a hat. How we doing?
We're good, man. We got our buddy British Raven on here. You guys know each other?
It's hot as balls in this office, man. But we're doing great.
It looks beautiful there.
It is. It's nice after the weather last night. It little rough patch last night. The Naders came.
Had a name us with a nader.
Really close.
The Tornadoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was too close for my liking, but we made it through. So.
You got any Arkansas facts?
85 degrees.
You got any Arkansas facts for us on this 85-degree Thursday afternoon?
Yeah. How about since we have the British Raven there, we'll give you some Arkansas British facts. How's that sound?
I like it.
Fire me up.
The most prominent interaction of the Brits and Arkansans was the Battle of Arkansas during the Revolutionary War in 1783.
Wow.
The
Really?
only battle of the American Revolution that was fought in Arkansas.
I was going to say that's probably one of the only ones west of the Mississippi.
I was going to say there's probably, most of it was on the eastern side, right?
It was Captain James Colbert led the British forces.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Oh man!
Did you see that picture, by the way, of Bartolo Colon on his boat down in the islands, just hammering a beer?
I did not.
It was fucking awesome. I posted it and I was like, I just like to think that him and Sidney Ponzone are going island to island, just drinking everyone dry. And I was like, that's the modern day pirate. That's Jack Sparrow and Blackbeard, today's version.
Arkansas lost another weekend series to the Florida Gators, by the way. How you feeling about that, Joe?
It was tough. You got Texas coming in today. So,
Texas, horns down. Is that today?
Thursday,
today. Thursday, Friday,
Saturday. Shit, 6, 7, and 2.
The softball team is playing LSU too, so it's a huge weekend in Fayetteville.
Oh,
they're both Thursday, Friday, Saturday series.
Oh, and Saturday is Hawaiian Shirt Day for the first 1,000 fans too. So that's massive.
That's massive.
That would get me going for sure if I was a Razorback fan.
I would. That's my birthday, man. Maybe I'll drive up there. I don't know.
Drive up there. It's your birthday. You're gonna watch the Kentucky Derby. Go get a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, I'll watch the Derby. I don't know if I'll drive up there because I know if it's a giveaway, there won't be any tickets. I mean, they sell bomb walker out anyway, but
yeah,
maybe we'll see.
Yeah, good try to buy it before.
Yeah, it's a long drive up a mountain. I don't know if I want to do it.
I'm sure. Fair enough. I don't know if I want to drive 3 hours on my birthday either.
The town of England, Arkansas, was named in 1880 after the landowner who was a lawyer for the Cotton Belt Railroad.
Huh. England, Arkansas. Do you know where that is?
I do. It's not too far from me.
Oh, really?
It's a very small.
Is it very British there?
Do they talk like this?
Well, some people are missing teeth, so if you call that British, then they might have some teeth over there. I don't know.
That's rich coming from you, Joe. You'd lose your teeth if they weren't attached, buddy.
It's true. It's true.
Oh man.
What are your got any thoughts on the Orioles recently?
I think they're turning it around, man. I mean, it was a rough stretch there. I'm the guy that's the 108 win guy, so until we lose number 55, I'm sticking with 108.
That would be awesome. I really hope we don't. Oh shit! Did we lose him?
Oh no, we lost his teeth.
So. We lost his teeth. All right, Joe.
All right, Joe, we're going to kick you off. Sorry, we lost you. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for Joe for coming on, giving us some Arkansas facts. That was cool, and good for him for his birthday being Saturday. We wish him a happy birthday on Derby Day, no less. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a day.
It's gonna be a hell of a day for Arkansas, Joe. 85 and sunny in Arkansas. Good for him. How's the weather in Britainland?
Painful
Painful
for most people.
Dreary?
My office right now is 99 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my God, it's that hot.
Yeah, it's currently 79 outside, but because our houses are so incredibly insulated, you come inside to get away from the heat, and the heat's inside also.
Oh no, yike!
That's good. At least better than cold, I guess.
Oh, I prefer the warm weather. It's just not very fun sometimes.
Not when it's inside.
Not when it's 99 indoors.
When it's 99 and the humidity inside is like 90.
Yeah. My friends used to call my place whenever they would come down to visit me in Ocean City the icebox because I like it cold.
Yeah.
You can hang meats in here. Yeah, it's it's nice.
Now we know what you do in the off hours.
Yeah, I'm
Hanging
running
meat.
a butcher.
The butcher of West OC.
Yeah, the butcher.
That's what you call it, huh?
Yeah.
You're really slaughtering those meats, aren't you?
Yorkshire Gold teabag. Oh man, I can't believe I did that in the middle of the show. All right, guys. Anything else you want to plug before you get off of here, British Raven? You want to plug your Twitter or any kind of stuff you got going on?
You know what? The only thing I've got going on right now is Twitter and being here. So it's great to be on Twitter. Great time being positive about the Ravens, the Orioles, and whatever else comes my way. So if you need some positivity in your life, find me on there.
Yeah.
Occasionally you'll hear me rate people that are trying to troll me, which is fun. So we move on.
I like that. All right. Well, yeah, guys, that's been our Thursday edition of Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for calling in, Joe. Thanks for Nick for hanging out with us for the whole episode and giving us some in-depth analysis on the Ravens draft picks and highlighting some of those undrafted guys that we wanted to talk about. So yeah, thank you very much to everyone for supporting and watching. We really appreciate y'all. And go have a great Thursday and go have a good weekend and win some money on the Derby.
Fuck yeah. Let's win some money.
Let's win some money.
Let's be positive.
If I pick a horse, I'll put it out for you guys. I don't know. It'd probably be the 6 horse. That's my favorite.
The 6th or the 9th.
Oh. Gotta be one or the other.
You have to get the
Or both.
Do a little Quinella.
Good box.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Guys, thanks again. Once again, thank you very much. Like, comment, subscribe.
Lars saying put it in the Discord.
Yeah,
put it in the Discord.
Go check out British Raven on Twitter. And tune in next week. We'll be live again on Tuesday. So
yeah,
we'll see you.
Do all the fun stuff.
Yeah,
like, comment, share, tell a friend, subscribe, drink a beer. We need to get back to drinking a few beers on this podcast. It's been a couple weeks, so maybe
we're getting into the season where I don't have off days very much anymore, so I'm not going to be able to drink before work. I guess I can. I'm a bartender, but you know.
What are you talking about? You drink at work.
Yeah, but that's different.
How far are we from putting a small pool outside our front yard and sitting in it, beer in hand, Homer Simpson style? How white trash are we willing to get with this?
As trashy as you want.
We can go yard couch trashy if you want.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, our show
now
is
you're talking.
Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture. So
yeah. Paul says, drink some rum, ahoy. Paul's once again still reeling from his Hans Zimmer concert. So he's going to be keeping doing that, I guess.
I guess Paul's still a pirate.
Yeah. There's a pirate on our team. But yeah, once again, thank you guys for listening. Outros are weird. Yeah. See you guys next time.
See you guys.